Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Kira. I am here with Fee Navigator today, and I am with Mark. Mark is a loyal customer, hopefully advocate, and he is here to share some of his experience with us today. So, Mark, I want to thank you very much for spending your time to be with us this evening. Thank you for being here.
Glad to be here. Hi, Kira.
Yes, Kira, you got it. It's Kyra. You can thank my dad for that one. Kyra, Kira. So thanks. So I just want to give you a little preface on the interview. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that are kind of get to know you, who are you, help our viewers understand kind of what your background is. But we'll ask you some more, serious business questions too.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. So first question is Mark, can you tell us where you're calling from today?
Yeah, I'm in Virginia. I'm not far from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Smack dab in between Richmond and DC.
Okay, that's great. We're up here in Pennsylvania, so not too far away. And Mark, just for some context, can you tell us how long you've been with Fee Navigator? How long have you been using our services and tools?
We've been using Fee Navigator for about, is it 4, 5, 6 months? Something like that now? Since release?
Great.
Actually, a little bit before release.
So you were one of the early adopters. Yes, you were one of the early ones on the platform, right?
Yeah, definitely. I sold into the vision of this when it was, I'm not sure how soon, but I want to say grassroots, but I'm sure there was tons of work laid before I showed up.
Great. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here with us today, and you can give us a little bit of different experience. I interviewed somebody earlier today who had only been on for a week, so I'd be interested to hear some of your experiences today as well. I'm looking forward to chatting with you a little bit.
Good. Yeah. Sure.
Before we kind of get into some more of these questions, the business stuff, technical stuff, can you give us a little bit more background about you? Can you tell us how long have you been in the merchant services industry? How did you get here, and what were you doing beforehand?
Well, wow, try to cut that story down, right? Okay. My journey.
We can do whatever we need to do. Just go ahead.
My journey is so similar to many in payments, and outside of payments, similar there too. I had a job in sales that I did real well at, and was headhunted by a person providing merchant services who had a local ISO here not far from where I grew up. And he saw my potential and scalped me and brought me onto him, and which I was a big fan of, because what I attracted to was running my own business, which I had been in multiple ventures before, but I like the model, I like the control, and I like the opportunity I saw initially of how many providers were doing it poorly. And the more I got into payments, the more I realized it was really the best place for my professional career, because it combined the things that I was really good at. I love tech, I love payments, I love business, I love business owners. I think business owners are rad. I think entrepreneurs and business owners of this country are the backbone of everything and they can very well be argued as the majority being the backbone of society and culture and innovation. It's amazing. It creates this beautiful world we get to experience. And so, but when I got into payments, it was because of my sales at AT&T, which I loved. I got so many free phones. But I ended up really thrusting into payments, probably for the same reasons Ion did, is that there's this huge problem, and it's causing a lot of opportunity for better solutions. And with me as a provider that was service-based, with the product like with Fee Navigator, that it seems to be the same drive. So it was really what pushed it in, that I really loved payments, was the opportunity of serving business owners and how much they really needed me.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Are you an agent? Do you own a company? Are you affiliated with another group? Just give me a little background. I know Ion knows your story, but I do not.
Yeah, so I am in the process of white labeling, and I've just set up a wholesale relationship. I have multiple providers that I love all my relationships with. I'm very fond of the relationship I have with Card Connect. They've supported me well as First Data on Whole. in my growth and many and countless others, and so yeah.
Perfect. My next question for you then, because I understand that some people, in the industry, they kind of niche into different markets or different industries or different segments. Do you have a specific customer? Do you have a main customer? Do you have a segment that you service? If so, who are they? If not, why not?
It's funny. The people in payments that do really well have isolated to their expertise. So they're really good at what they do and they stay in that lane. And when you're coming up, you're still defining that. So in my growth over the years, I have, as many have, looked at opportunities in payments that seem to kind of spread out. But we thinned it down and really became focused on what we're best at. And it's pretty well capsulated in a question that was given to me by a partner of mine, Trent, who owns Affinity Business Solutions. He asked me one time, he said, "Is there any referral you won't take?" And I said, "Yeah, dishonest business owners." Dishonest. I was like, "So what businesses do we take?" We love businesses who care about their business. We love businesses that want to grow, who question their processes and finances, who love deep-rooted relationships. And I don't know what most people say, but they probably would say retail, restaurant. Yeah, we do that. We do integrations. Yeah, we do that. We do C-level solutions. Yeah, we do that. We do consulting, and we do whatever people need. But ultimately, Orange Sock attracts Orange Sock, which is, that. Yeah, I own my company. Yes, the buck stops here. We love serving our partners with solutions that are so transparent, like Fee Navigator, that make it clear cut. I mean, and truth be told, we're on this call, but that's the only reason why me and Ion were working together. We had this phone call. He was inquiring about, with him and his team and the founders of this, they were inquiring about the potential of where this could go and how this should be priced in the market and things like that. And all I could see was the value of how many businesses I walked into. And I said, got to the point in conversation where they're like, "What are you paying?" "Oh, I'm paying 5 and 5. "Oh, okay." And then you look at their statement and there's hundreds and hundreds of dollars they didn't know that are being wasted. Thousands even. I found an account one time for a small business who was founded by a Latino immigrant who and his family. They bought a pizza joint and they had been they had been deceived and really taken advantage of for thousands and thousands of dollars that they don't have. And at that time, I knew that there were 7 family members living in one apartment with 3 bedrooms. These were the owners of that business. And people like that need Fee Navigator. People like that need Orange Sock. And, I really sold into that vision of Fee Navigator's potential, because that's the real core of what we want to attract. We want to attract businesses where people are honest, they're relationship based, they want to know what's really going on, and they want to have a partner they can trust. You don't have to sit here and figure out fees and everything. That we have an open relationship. This is all about cutting the pricing down, getting it tight, and putting that money back in the bank account where it belongs.
That's awesome. I love hearing you guys talk about the human side of of the merchant services industry. It's really interesting to hear you tell that story about that business owner and his family. This really speaks to what you guys are doing. That you really are kind of taking it to the next level. It's beyond business. It's also about helping people and understanding people. So thank you. Absolutely. My next question for you, I'm actually going to pivot it out. I feel I have a little bit of an understanding of where you came from, who you are. I'd like to understand who you are a little bit more with a question that might sound a little bit silly or personal, but this does help me and others understand you. What are your favorite books right now that you're reading, or influencers that you might be into? People who are kind of putting their voice out there, in the world. You got your speakers, your writers, and influencers. Is there anybody that you're following, or anybody that you would recommend?
Oh yeah, I follow all great leaders. And you want to know what books I'm reading?
Yeah.
I'm on it, man. Which one am I on? I just finished one. I got one in my backpack that I take with my travels, and I'm looking for that backpack over there. I had bought like 3 different books recently, and then I go through those. But right now, I'm constantly going through leadership, success, sales books, sharpening the sword constantly sharpen the sword. But I am definitely following Gary Vaynerchuk. I have been following him heavily over the past couple months and connect deeply with his passion for small business and challenging yourself and questioning the fears that you have to break barriers that are holding you back, they're holding your happiness back. And Gary connects with entrepreneurs and business owners, millennials, next gen. I mean, it doesn't matter who they are. He connects because he's real, he's transparent, he puts it out there. And I know from the content he puts out that if I really needed to, and he was the only person, and I got him a message that I needed his help, he would help me. He would do anything he could to help me. And you get that in every core. And so I'm following Gary because in times like this, where it's deeper than business, it's more human than business.
Yeah.
It's what really matters most. The core of why we tick, how we connect, and how we really come together in times of need, which define great moments like 9/11 and bombing of Pearl Harbor. As tragic and horrible as they are, it puts the power to twist that right back on our side, that we can respond in positivity, that we can take people who have been abused, utterly financially abused, and help them.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I really care about business owners. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And this country needs people to back up, honesty, people who really give a damn and care. They need that. And so I'm following Gary Vaynerchuk, and I've got big news coming out about a COVID-19 Hope charity effort. We have a custom limited edition 5-part series shirts that are coming out very soon. I just got the print for the first one, and we're going to sell 100 of the first series, 1,000 of the second, 10,000 of the third, 100,000 of the fourth, and 1 million of the fifth. And we're going to sell out of them. We're going to sell out of all of them. We're going to have net profit of $10, which is 100% to charity. Our cost on this is almost nothing, and nobody's getting paid. It's 100% relief. And the shirt is actually named, the shirts are being designed after prints that my son Luke drew. And we've digitally brought these over. But what's interesting about that is my son Luke is named after my brother Luke, who passed away years ago. He was Private First Class Luke Joshua Brown, and Luke was very out there, like me, but he was way better at it and way cooler. And Luke is who Orange Sock is named after a memory of. Luke used to wear orange socks up to his knees when he played basketball, pink undersized college hoodies. He would dye his hair lime green before a Jimmy Chicken Shack concert. Oh my gosh. They even stopped the concert because he was moshing too intensely. And but that was Luke. It was a big deal. But we're doing this because of people like Luke, because when Luke died, he was 82nd Airborne, 96 Delta. And when he died, thousands attended his funeral, thousands, because Luke made a difference. And in honor of Luke and great spirits like Luke who care, great people like Ion, his team, who put out products that make a difference, in support of Adam Wright and Newport News, Printing Right, who take care of CNU, Christopher Newport University's prints, amongst many other businesses. We're putting this out. He's printing them, and we're going to use this to make a difference. We're going to use the death of my brother Luke and the inspirations of my son and the tragedies of our time to catapult us into a position to pivot this in our favor. And what did you ask me about?
That's okay. I asked you about influencers. You're watching and listening, but actually, as you were speaking, another question I had. I was going to tell you that I feel and see you have a lot of spirit and passion for humanity and for others. I was going to ask you where that came from. I feel like you may have answered part of that question, but I will let you answer it if your answer is different. Where does this passion come from? Have you always been this way?
Ask Ion. It seems like every time he calls me, he's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's intense." Mark, whoa, whoa, intensity is good. It's passion focused. So, and when you combine it with other attributes, it become a ruthless weapon in the force for good. But a lot of my drive came from one experience, and that was the day before I was working at AT&T, and I was headed to vacation. I got 5 days paid vacation as a manager, and 5 days off allowed a year, which I was grateful for. And I appreciated it, and it was a part of our agreement. So I love my company for giving that to me, and I was compensated fairly and appropriately, but that was a limited window.
Mm-hmm.
So I took my time, and I left on a Saturday. Went down to Hilton Head, where our spot was, and past Fort Bragg, where my brother Luke was stationed. And I looked up at the sign, and I will always remember this, but I looked up at that sign, and I thought I should go see Luke. And then I looked down at my watch, and I said, I don't have time. I will always remember that, because Luke died that night, and I don't regret it. I don't live in negativity, but I definitely appreciate the lessons of learning. And I was given that opportunity because I could learn something beyond death, beyond the pain of death. I could learn that time is precious, and like that, it could all be gone. I could wake up tomorrow and it could all be gone. Just like when my wife got ovarian cancer in 2015 and was told she had a 14% likelihood of surviving. Before we went through she went through 4 rounds of one of the most ruthless regimens of chemo on the market. She lost all of her hair after having 4 C-sections, after being a 15-year hospice nurse. Over time, I started to realize just what really matters most, and it's really not business at all. It's people. It's people. That we are all people, and as politically opposed as we are, as demographically different as we are all the same in that we want to be happy. We want what's best for us. And if we stay in that lane, we are really good with each other. We can help each other no matter how much we don't agree. We can all support and take pain from one another. And I really just, those moments changed me. They changed me. And I'm grateful for it, because it just has a tendency to make you savor life a little bit more better. You slow down a little bit more. You try to take in the moments that are precious. Cherish the small things because they become the big things,
Yeah.
So I've seen some things that most people don't ever experience. And in gratitude and in humility, I'm grateful for them. They've taught me things that many people in this world will never learn, because they don't have to, and because it's honestly not necessary. But yeah, so that really fills all my heart.
Yeah, no, I really want to thank you for sharing your story and for telling these things with us. So that something that I'm a huge believer in is the power of the spoken word. I'm a huge believer in stories, you know what I mean, and the power of those words and of those connections to change the world. So I really appreciate you being open with your story with us during this time together. If and when you get your campaign ready to go with the shirts and you're ready to start selling, let us know. Tell Ion, tell us, tell the rest of the team. There's ways that we can help you. We'd love to support. So
I just have constantly, and I know we're in the thick of it. So it was like, and it was like an epiphany when Luke came in and he said, "Dad, I made a painting for you." And this was the night I had decided I'm going to do it. I need an image. I need the inspiration. And Luke says, "Dad, I made this for you." I said, "What is it?" Ian, you might appreciate this. He said, "I call it the olive tree." I'm like, how perfect. I'm a big believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I get it. Great inspiration.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing it. I'm glad that we got connected tonight, and I look forward to watching your journey.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to witnessing what you guys are going to do.
Thank you.
Right. Well, not to get super, really pivot here and talk about, your business again,
Dive
but
right in. I'm good.
we suppose we want to get back to what we came for. So the next question I have for you is, I'd like for you to talk to me a little bit about, again, some of these more of these things. I'd like to ask you about metrics. Now, metrics are a more boring topic for many of us. Many people do not love the numbers and whatever else. I work in marketing. I enjoy metrics. I know the value of them. But I'm wondering, what are key metrics for you that you're watching, and which ones do you care about?
The key metric I like looking at is friction points. I know you're asking more about numbers, but my metric that I like to look at the most is what is causing friction. And it's probably a good thing I was shared the vision of Fee Navigator over the phone, because I could have hugged, possibly kissed Ion. But it was because the bottleneck of understanding a statement is just, it was heavy. It was massive friction. And so those metrics, like where you see these points and addressing them, I love them. I love taking care of them. The numbers, I'd like to see people go from, what the crap am I paying? And who's to blame for me paying this? Is it my agent, my processor? Who's taking advantage of me? I'd like to be able to have a metrics show me where that person has now reduced their time to the point of, I know what's going on with my business. I know I should be paying 2.1 and I'm not. I know my fees should be this much a month and they're not. And I'd like to close that gap. That's a metrics I'd love to see. As far as numbers, we're always growing. Numbers are always going up. And taking care of our partners, if I had one stat, if I could only have one stat in my business, like I couldn't know anything but one, I would pick customer service. I would pick, how well are we treating our people? Are our people happy? Do they like what we're doing? If I could only know one number, I'd start there and work backward. And then I'd go to profit, and then I'd figure out what's causing pain. But there's a reason why we have 60 plus perfect reviews, is because it's very important. In the end, if you're not making your customer happy, I'm not sure why you're in business. I walked into I'm just, in these times, I ordered a meal. They got the meal wrong. I asked if this is 3 days ago with the virus. I said, could you deliver? I said, how far away are you? I said, well, I'm about 5 to 10 miles. And she goes, well, our max is 10 miles. You're about 10.1. So we're not going to be able to deliver it. Okay, I can come down there and pick it up. Great. Okay, so I come down to support my local business. I walk in, they got my order wrong. They didn't offer to bring it to the curb. I think they overcharged me. And then, I'm trying to remember, but they committed some like sins, business sins. You don't do that. You take care of your people. And I'm just surprised that that's not important to everyone. Although I know it's a reality. It really is. It's just the way it is. But customer service, without that, you have nothing. If your people aren't happy, why are you here? You might be in the wrong position.
Yeah. Well, and aside from customer, because I agree with you 100%, customer satisfaction can actually be something that is hard to measure, though. I think sometimes people think they're happy, nobody's complaining, so I must be doing all right. What kinds of things, how do you know your customers are happy? I know you said the Google reviews, and that's a huge indicator, and it's super important right now. Google reviews are it, you know what I mean? It's it right now. But how else?
I like that you're asking that. Yeah. I like that you're digging deeper into that the initial answer wasn't that we got to, because that's true. I agree with what you're saying. That is just an initial indicator. A lot of people push that as a primary source of evidence. But being able to step back and having a lens of transparency, and I believe it's the Admiral Stockhold effect. that, what book was that in? Was that in Built to Last, Good to Great? Jim Collins, I think, referenced it a lot in his books, but the Admiral Stockhold effect is that you have to face the brutal facts of your reality, as ugly as they might be. And I'm willing to do that and have been for a long time.
Yeah.
That I have those sidebar conversations that aren't pleasant, that you have to admit you messed up, that you said that you would do this and it delivered at 90% close to that, and still having the moral character to deliver, even when that means you're going to make this a complete opportunity a loss in revenue.
Yeah.
Which we've done. Because in the end, if you don't have your word, what do you have? And so. But yeah, so customer service, I recognize how some of those indicators that are boasted may not be as true and real as they can be at times. But stepping back and just having that attitude and the character and self-check, self-worth, to be honest with yourself, and say, wow, I was kind of sharp with that guy. I probably shouldn't have done that. I was short with them. I shouldn't have done. I should have been more patient, more empathetic. And he called me out on it, and shame on me. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I'm sorry I was like that. And I've had a couple partners call me out on that before. I had one partner call me up one time and say, what the? His close friend, Vinny. I love this guy. But he called me out on something that I was unaware. And I was grateful for that. But being able to have that allows you to really get an honest opinion. And you have to let go of pride. You just have to admit that you've got problems all around you, and they're not your fault, but you get to have a fun time fixing them. And it's fun, because you get to figure some things out, like I've learned, that people don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. Because the truth is, everything that has value is on the other side of a challenge. You have to, otherwise everybody would do it. And my grandfather taught me that lesson years ago when I came up to him. And he used to tease me. He'd say things like, oh, Mark, some people, they focus on the donut, not the hole. Or he said, it's hard by the yard, it's cinched by the inch. He had all these euphemisms. All of them said, Mark, your life's hard just because some people it's hard. It was kind of depressing, honestly. But he also had a lot of phrases that were encouraging. And as they honest in reality that they really are, he had phrases that really mattered. And that's true in business, that you have these points or whatever. So yeah.
Got it. Thank you. My next question for you then, I'd love to hear about your goals for your business. Maybe what is a primary goal? And it's an interesting time to ask about goals, because we're in this kind of uncertain, like weird time right now. But what are your goals, for Orange Sock, for your growth, for kind of immediately, and then also in the coming seasons?
Well, I have my goals specifically written down.
So that's great.
I don't play around with my future. So Q1 target. I have, which one should we share? Where's my next one? You know what? I'm focused on? One of my goals is that I am cleaning off my dresser.
Why do you say that? Why is that a goal?
Because it really represents everything in life that can cause you problems. And I actually started a series about this on my channel, because it's more than just your dresser. If you got a dirty dresser, a messy dresser, there's probably a lot of corners in your life that need addressing. Some of them are probably really screwing up business for you. And some of them, they don't matter right now. You can get to them later. So one of my goals was to clean off my dresser. And then right after I got done cleaning off my dresser, I go clean off that corner. And then right after I got done with that, then I'm going to clean off a corner in my office that I've been meaning to organize, systemize. Because, it's we turn away from, like, it's painful to change. It's painful to change. It's not painful to change. It's liberating to change. It's empowering to change. It's empowering to do things that are hard. So That's one of my goals, is to clean up the messy corners of my life so that I have an unrestricted, unrestrained, uncapped potential this year.
That's awesome. That'll do. I love it. You should be giving Gary Vee a run for his money pretty soon, I think, if you keep up the inspirational talks.
I want him to bring me on his show. I'm on almost every live thing that I can be, but when it's the right time, it'll happen.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, we're getting down to the last two here. I only have two more questions for you. The second to last question are, what are some problems that Fee Navigator may have solved for you? I know you touched on earlier, just the learning curve around the statements, and that, definitely that being a challenge. So can you just address that maybe a little more directly? Problems Fee Navigator may have solved?
Sure. The biggest problem that it removes is the transparency. Is that here you have a third party willing to divulge completely, safely, securely what actually is going on. They have no interest in you, in your business. They're interested in supporting the companies that would like to vie for your business. Mm-hmm. But in the end, they are they just do the same for everybody. It doesn't matter. You drop and go, the system does the same. It can't tell if you're this guy or that guy. It just knows numbers. And so the biggest problem it solved is it removed the lack of transparency with this. I have a statement in that bag right there. I love this crazy stuff like hieroglyphics. I read a payment source article. This is fake news. But I read this payment source article that said that hieroglyphics actually was the foundation to merchant statements. That's how they built it. They were like, how should we start? And they were like, well, we're going to use Chinese because Chinese is the most common language. They're like, nah, it's too complicated. Let's use hieroglyphics. No one understands hieroglyphics. Well, then just put down interchange. Just put down interchange items. There's no way they're going to know what that crap is. There's no way.
Yeah. Well then, so I'm hearing that transparent, that's a very kind of like high level problem. I'm impressed with your answer. It's a high level problem. Yes, transparency.
I'm joking around a little bit, Myra, but the truth is that transparency builds off of trust. And I'm joking around, but it's a secondary thing, because trust in partnership and any type of business relationship, without trust, I'm not really sure how anything could be really good enough. If you don't have trust in a relationship, it's going to end eventually, it's going to end badly, mm-hmm. or it's not even going to start. And trust is the most important thing. And so having that foundational beginning to the opportunity with any potential partnership is not only key, it's critical. It's mm-hmm. necessary that you have that you earn that trust from them, that you maintain it in your systems. And mm-hmm. Fee Navigator does that. It gives me the trust that I need in vying for future partnerships. It gives the trust that they need to know who they're working with. Yeah. It gives the trust and the transparency of what's actually going on. So I think it's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's hugely insightful for you to say that. What do you think would be the implications of not solving this problem? Had Fee Navigator not stepped into the space, had they not been here with you, in your company, what would you extrapolate or forecast as the implications of not solving this problem?
I think about the guy, I won't say his name, but I think about the family with the pizza restaurant. What are the implications of that? Well, why don't you show up to them right now, in this economy, and drop on their table their last 3 months of fees that they gave to a guy who lied to them. And when I ran the numbers, it was somewhere around, and this was money that had been advanced, manipulated, falsely documented, blah, 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 whole bunch of messy stuff. Ended up being somewhere around $7,000 in losses to this business that he didn't even know he had lost because it was stolen stealthily, manipulated in documentation. And he didn't even know this was going on until I came in and was vying for business and couldn't get the information, getting deeper, and then here we are. But what was I saying, Myra? I lost my train of thought.
No, just about implications of not solving.
Yeah, I think about him because that kind of money, what the whole country is going to be turned around by $1,200 checks. And I really think that's going to do a lot of good. You know, that's not a sarcastic comment. $1,200. I saw another stat that said the difference between a person retiring at 65 or never retiring is a difference between $500 in household income a month. What are the implications of not checking your statement fast, not knowing it's accurate, not being able to double check your provider, question them, audit them? It could be detrimental. It could ruin their business, put their family in destitute circumstances. It could make them homeless. It could make them lose their life savings, like this Latino family. What are the consequences? They're severe. They're severe. And unfortunately, merchant services is a silent beast. You know, it's there every month, but until it becomes a big problem, it can be a small problem for a long time. And this Fee Navigator gets rid of all that. And second, boom, boom, I know exactly what's going on. I don't know how to read my statement. Good, you don't need to. Boom, drag and drop. It'll tell you everything you need to know. So I would love a world to only consider a world that had Fee Navigator being provided by every bank, by every partner, by every ISO, so that we're all on the same page. We all know what's going on. And then we can really talk about what matters, not the money. What kind of products do you have? How well do you follow up with your partners? How well is your service reputation? Where's your vision of your company? So then you could talk about things that really matter, not about, well, does it cost 3 cents or does it cost 4?
Yeah.
Who knows? Right.
Awesome. Well, that was the last question that I had for you today. My true last question, though, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wish that I did, or anything else that you'd like to say?
Yeah. I love this country, and I love the people who serve it so well by striving to put business solutions that help the 60% of people in America and in the world, for that matter, all small business owners. I don't care where you are. If you're driving your dream and vision and passion for your future because you're doing what you love, I commend you. I commend you and I support you. And I want you to know there's way more people on your side than are against you. And in this economy, now's the time to move that forward, to focus on the opportunities that lay before you. So I believe in you. I think everybody's doing it. Everybody has a lot going on, but there are so many good people coming up and standing up right now, being leaders. And I wanted to share that message with everybody. That's really it. Just remember that we're all living together after this, and it'll be a great world. So let's just focus on the positivity. Let's get through this and then have a great life after.
Okay. That's awesome. Oh, I just lost my video. I'm sure we're still here. I think we're still here.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, thank you for those wise words. So the truly last question. Sorry, this is not a game. I'm not doing this to you on purpose. The last question. I think I know the answer. Would you recommend Fee Navigator to others?
Oh yeah, I recommend it to providers and businesses at the highest level. It is a critical component to managing the financial expenses of your business. There's a good quote, Myra.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, that's a good press release.
You're getting an MY somewhere, and it's Kira. So Yeah, no, that was perfect. That's what we were looking for. So no, so Mark, I just want to thank you again for spending your time with us this evening. Time is super valuable. It's the most valuable thing that we have, and we appreciate you being here with us to do this with us. So yeah, thanks very much. We look forward to seeing all of your successes in the future, and have a great rest of your night.